What is up, guys? My name is Ryan Souza 18 on the Ryan Souza 18 Forever channel, and tonight I'll be reviewing Wrestlemania 34 live at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's get things started. We start off with the WrestleMania pre-show. We had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, in which Matt Hardy would win the Memorial Battle Royal as there was three competitors left. It was himself, Baron Corbin, and Mojo Rawley, who were two of those. Obviously, Mojo Rawley and Baron Corbin were former winners of the Battle Royal, and Matt Hardy, the lone guy who was new to the event after returning last year with his brother Jeff. Uh, as Matt Hardy is getting focused in on by Baron Corbin and Mojo Rawley, the lights go out. Out comes Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt helps Matt Hardy pull off the victory, and Matt Hardy is your victor of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So it's going to be interesting to see what WWE does with the Woken Universe now that Bray Wyatt is now added to, obviously, the Woken Universe. So we'll see where things go tomorrow night and in the weeks to come. Next, we go to the Cruiserweight Championship between Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali to determine the vacant Cruiserweight Championship. Pretty good match. Actually, one of the more what's the word I should use? It was a good match. I mean, there's no way to look around it. I mean, a lot of the matches on the card, like, they were okay matches. They weren't like draw drop ring. I mean, I felt as though this WrestleMania, a lot of the matches that we thought were going to be good didn't turn out to be because of either the chemistry in the ring, or it was just the way that WWE creative had booked it, and it was just not what it was supposed to be. And you could tell by the crowd's reaction, because a lot of the times throughout the matches, I should say, you saw the crowd just sitting there. Like, there was no reaction. Like, certain spots that the wrestlers would hit, they wouldn't react to. Especially at the main event, which is what I'll get to later, between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But let's just continue right now with the Cruiserweight Championship match. Cedric Alexander, as we all know, was going to win from the get go when Enzo Amore got suspended by WWE for that rape incident with that girl. Um, he would hit his lumbar check finisher and secure the pinfall 1-2-3 against Mustafa Ali. So we'll see where things go in 205 Live now that Cedric Alexander is the new Cruiserweight champion. Next, we go to the Women's Battle Royal. I'm going to cut it short and sweet. The last three participants, which were Sarah Logan, Banks, and Bailey, um, you know, they tore it down. You know what I mean? And they got Sasha and Bailey, into a one-on-one confrontation for that short little bit. They had, obviously, Bailey knock off Sasha to the floor, and Bailey thought that she had won the match, but lo and behold, there was actually Naomi who was actually left, and she had actually exited the ring through the second rope earlier on in the match, I should say. Um, and Bailey was surprised, and Naomi tosses Bailey over, and Naomi's the first ever Women's Battle Royal winner. Next, we get on to the main show. We have Seth Rollins versus the champion, The Miz, versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. Probably one of the best matches of the night. The Miz would actually come out with the Miz Taraj, but tell him to go into the back as he would handle it on his own. So a little bit interesting there to show that the Miz can actually do things on his own. So kudos to the Miz for actually having the confidence to actually do something on his own. Um, but anyway, probably like I was saying earlier, probably one of the best matches of the night. Seth Rollins would pull off with a victory as he would hit the curb stomp on both men and secure his Grand Slam, as that was the only title that had eluded him throughout his current WWE run. Next, we would get on to the SmackDown Women's Championship between the Queen Charlotte Flair and the Empress Asuka. A little bit of a shocking twist to this match, as Charlotte would actually beat Asuka, and Asuka would actually submit to the figure eight. It was actually a really good match, especially the spot on the outside with the suplex, and where you actually heard Charlotte say that she couldn't breathe. I don't know if that was seriously, or if it was just a part of the storyline, whatever the case may have been. But that was a pretty cool spot right there between both women, and I give kudos to them performing the spot. And I know it's not all the jaw drop. It's not a jaw dropping spot, but at the same time, for a woman, it's pretty cool. Um, But anyway, long story short, Charlotte Flair defeats Asuka, and Asuka's winning streak is no more. So this is the second streak in New Orleans that vanishes, as we all know. A couple years ago at WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker, and Undertaker would go 21-1, and the streak would be over for the dead man. Next, we go on to the United States Championship match, which is kind of a letdown. Let's be honest. I mean, it was good. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was good. It was okay. I was obviously between the champion Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev versus Bobby Roode. Just like I said, it's just one of those constant matches where there's finishers that are performed and then there's constant kickouts. Jinder Mahal would come out of nowhere, hit his finishing move on Rusev, which I had winning the match, which would have been made the most sense out of everybody, because he was so over. I mean, he still is obviously, but he's so over with the crowd with the whole Rusev Day gimmick. So it's like, I guess Jinder Mahal pulls off a sneaky victory, but I don't know. We'll see what happens what they do with the U.S. Championship, if they're actually gonna actually eventually put it back on Rusev. But we'll see where things go. So Jinder Mahal is now your new United States champion. Then we would go on to the much anticipated match between Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Very interesting match. Everybody was very interested to see how Ronda Rousey would fare in a WWE ring. Excuse me. Um, and we would see her actually getting physical with Triple H, hitting a couple moves on him. And how it would end is with Ronda Rousey hitting the armbar of Stephanie McMahon and causing Stephanie McMahon to submit. So congratulations to Ronda Rousey on getting her first WWE win on her WWE debut on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. Next, we would have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships being defended, as the Usos would defend their titles against the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day. The New Day came out with a bunch of pancake midgets, which was hilarious. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cliche, it's kind of silly, but I thought it was funny. Um, but anyway, long story short, the Bludgeon Brothers, as I had predicted, even though I didn't make a prediction video, but I had predicted that the Bludgeon Brothers would, win, as the Usos, and the New Day have already had their fair share of title wins. And it was time for a change. And the Bludgeon Brothers, we'll see what happens with them, and we'll see how good of a faction they actually can really be, as they've finally separated from the whole Wyatt gimmick. So anyway, so next we would go on to John. Actually, before I wanted to mention this, after the Oscar match, John Cena receives word while he's in the crowd from a referee that the Undertaker's in the building. So this is leading into this next segment, which is John Cena's music hits. He does his normal entrance, waits for the Undertaker. The lights go out. Out comes Elias. Elias says, I know you're not I'm not the guy that you were looking for." He gets the simple added the five knuckle shuffle attitude adjustment. As Cena walks up the ramp, lights go out. In the middle of the ring, the gear that was left at WrestleMania 33 appears in the middle of the ring. Um, a lightning bolt hits the gear, and then you hear the gong, and out comes the Undertaker. And possibly, obviously, at the age of 53, and obviously coming off a hip surgery, they're not going to have the Undertaker perform a 5-star quality match, to last 15, 20 minutes. That's not, in this day and age, at his stage of his career, he's not capable of doing that. We saw that last year with him and Roman, how staggered he was, and how flip floppy, and he was just all over the place. And it's not the Undertaker of old, and that's not the way we as fans want to remember the Undertaker. So it was good for WWE to actually allow and for Cena to allow himself to be squashed by the Undertaker. And it was good to see the Undertaker finally get some redemption after losing in New Orleans 4 years ago. So pretty good there. Next would be the anticipated return of Daniel Bryan to a WWE ring, as Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon would team up to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. If Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn hold on. If Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lost the match, they would be fired from WWE. So Daniel Bryan receives medical attention after Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do a brutal beatdown before the bell even rings. Throughout the majority of the match, you had Shane McMahon going on a 2-on-1 handicap match, in a sense, between both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which was okay, I guess. I mean, everybody was more anticipated of Daniel Bryan getting more action in the match, which he would later on. But he would end up hitting the yes lock on Sami Zayn, causing him to submit, and Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon win. And we'll see what happens with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn now that they're fired from WWE. Don't know if necessarily they can make the jump to Raw, but we'll see what happens there with the two superstars, as they were slated earlier on in the year to actually be leaving the company. So we'll see where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn end up. Next, we have the WWE Championship match, the dream match that everybody's been waiting for, that we all anticipated, that we were all wanting to see in the WWE ring. Obviously, we saw it in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but uh, it was never done in the WWE ring. So we have the WWE Championship on the line. We have AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Uh, it was an okay match. It wasn't anything we were anticipating. We thought it was going to be a lot better than what it was, but at the same time, you can't always get what you want, and it kind of sucks, to be honest, to build up a match to be a dream match, and then the way it just came out. A lot of the matches, like I said, they were just sloppy. Like, it wasn't like performed properly. It was just, I don't know. To me, this WrestleMania was just like a flop. Like, it wasn't anything like spectacular. Like I said, like there were only like one to two good matches, if that. Like I was telling you, the fans were not in it. I was on and off with it. I mean, obviously, I was watching it. Don't get me wrong, I was watching it, but it was just hard to get into it. Like, yeah, I marked out when the Undertaker came out, and they did the whole reinsurgence of the Dead Man gimmick, as everybody was anticipating him returning to the biker gimmick, but they swerved us, and he's still the Dead Man. So anyway, so Styles would actually hit the Styles Clash after he would reverse Shinsuke Nakamura's Kinshasa, and would pull off with the victory. And then afterwards, as Shinsuke Nakamura grabs the belt from the referee, he kneels down on one knee, hands Styles the belt, and as Styles taps him on the back, delivers a low blow and starts stomping on AJ Styles, turning Shinsuke Nakamura heel. Don't know where that's going to lead. I still think, not trying to be racist at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, you need to have promo skills in order to be a heel, but in this kind of a sense where Nakamura doesn't have a good speaking of English, it's kind of like, what can you really do with the gimmick? I know actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, you kind of need those words to be backed up by the action. So anyway, we'll see where things go with that. So just to conclude, AJ Styles has defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to become, I mean not to become, but to retain the WWE Championship. Next, we would have the Raw Tag Team Championships between Braun Strowman and a mystery partner versus The Bar, which is Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro and Sheamus come out in a Mardi Gras bus, or a boat, I should say, and then they go down to the ring. Braun Strowman comes out, saying that, I've been waiting until the granddaddy of them all to announce my tag team partner. And he actually says that he actually wants to be a fan. So he goes throughout the whole audience and selects this fan, Nicholas. Now, this fan, Nicholas, is probably like 10 years old, 11 years old. I'm guessing most likely he's a Make-A-Wish kid, which kind of makes sense. I mean, if he's just a regular fan, no disrespect, but I mean, obviously with WWE being so intertwined with Make a Wish, it would only make sense for them to do something uh, so significant in a sense to show how much they truly care about their association with Make a Wish. So kudos to WWE on doing that if that is the case. But Braun Strowman would hit the fall away, well, not the fall away slam, but the, yeah, fall away slam on Cesaro, and Cesaro with Cesaro and Sheamus would lose the match to Braun Strowman and Nicholas, which is kind of like silly. At the same time, it's like Braun Strowman and a fan, but like I said, I get it if it's obviously the whole Make a Wish thing. Okay, now we get to the main event. Uh, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Everybody was expecting Roman Reigns to win because he's been in the past couple of main events at WrestleMania. Obviously, last year with The Undertaker. The year before that was with Triple H. The year before that was with Brock Lesnar. But Seth Rollins stole the show, cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and won the match. Anyway, long story short, uh, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, there was just something off with the match. Like at that time, it was just like the fans, like I was saying earlier on in the video, the fans were just not into it, and there was a boring chants. They said this is awful. I mean, it was just a massacre, and they WWE tried so hard to the point where they actually had Roman Reigns blade himself. It caused literally a crimson mask on his face of just sheer blood in order to try to get a reaction from the fans, and the fans just weren't having it. Lesnar had hit like 5 to 6 F5s, and hit a couple of German suplexes, the whole shindig that he always does, puts Roman through a table using the F5. It was just pointless. It was just honestly pointless. I don't get where WWE's trying to go with this. If Lesnar isn't leaving for WWE, what what can he do? Like, I mean, he's faced pretty much everybody right now. I mean, there's no really, unless a guy like Bobby Lashley returns, who's obviously an MMA fighter as well, and obviously a former WWE talent. But I mean, at this point of the game, with Lesnar being up there in age now, it's like, not saying that he's not in bad shape and he can't perform, but it's always the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like there's no, you know, next one up. You know what I mean? He doesn't technically put anybody over every time that he's around. You know what I mean? Like he's put over. No, well, I wouldn't say put over, but he's lost to like guys like Triple H and stuff like that, and John Cena. Like no young talent, nothing spontaneous. So anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on WrestleMania 34. What do you think is going to happen now with Lesnar retaining the title? What do you think? Is this the final time we actually saw the Undertaker in a WWE ring? Um, and what happens with the Raw Tag Team Championships tomorrow? As you know, Braun Strowman and Nicholas are now the new Raw Tag Team Champions. What happens now with the Vulcan universe with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt now having an alliance? So let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And until the next video, guys, I'm out. Deuce.